Hi everyone! In this video, we will test the functionality of adding and removing elements. Before we start, let's take a look at what exactly we will be testing. On the homepage, there is a link called Add Remove Elements. I click on it and go to the next page. Now we are on the Add Remove Elements page. Here we see a button called Add Element. When we click on this button, it creates a new delete button. If we click on the delete button, it disappears. Our test will check that after clicking Add Element button, the delete button appears, and after clicking Delete button, it disappears. We will also verify that after deleting all elements, no delete buttons remain on the page. Let's start by creating a new page file. I go to the Pages folder and create a new file. Let's name it page02_add_remove_elements. Now let's create a driver and a constructor to initialize it. The driver is needed to interact with the browser, allowing us to find elements, click buttons, and perform other actions. The constructor helps us pass the driver instance from our test class to this page class, so that we can reuse it. Now we need to add a method to click the Add Element button. At this point, we need to add a locator to find the Add Element button. Let's check how we can locate this button in DevTools. Looking at its structure and attributes, we can see that it's a button element. It doesn't have an ID, but it has the text Add Element. Now, let's go back to Visual Studio and update the XPath. Next, we need to add a method to click the Delete button. Just like before, we need to add a locator for the Delete button. Let's check how we can locate the Delete button in DevTools. I see that is a button element and it has as a text Delete. Okay, let's update the XPath. Then we need to create a method that counts the number of delete buttons on the page. Since we need to count all delete buttons, we use findElements instead of findElement. This allows us to find multiple elements instead of just one. Since findElements returns a list of all matching elements, we use count to get the total number of delete buttons and return it. The page file is now complete. Let's move on writing our test. I go to the test folder and create a new file. Let's name it test02 add and delete element. Before we start testing, we need to navigate from the home page to the Add Remove Elements page. To do this, let's first create an object for the home page. Next, we create an object for the Add Remove Elements page. Now, to navigate to the Add Remove Elements page, we call the clickElement method and pass the link text. At this point, we need to add an element so that the delete button appears. To do this, we call the addElement method that we created earlier. Now, let's delete the delete button. Since the button disappears when we click it, we call the deleteElement method. Now, I check that there are no delete buttons left on the page. I create a variable that will store the number of delete buttons. I assign this variable to countDeleteButtons method, which we created on the Add Remove Elements page. Then, I check that the number of delete buttons is 0. Well, everything seems ready. Let's run our test and see if it works. As you can see, the test passes successfully. The Add Element and Delete buttons work correctly, and the test runs without errors. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and leave a like. And see you in the next videos.